Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Rada McBerto with your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. And how is everyone today, according to Maywood? Maywood, welcome aboard. Bridge MCP, welcome aboard. So you came before the music. Both you and AVQ came before the music. That is great. That is great. What can I say? Nanette Bird Smith is in the house. And of course, there is AVQ. Michael Rudnin is in the house as well. We are going to have a great show for you today. Bridge MCP says, poor countries are suffering the worst climate woes but getting the least help. It's not just news coverage that misses the mark. Academia has shown similar biases when it comes to recognizing the impacts of the climate crisis on more vulnerable international communities. The same with political attention and channels of economic assistance from north to south. What's missed are places that in the vast majority of cases are not primary drivers of greenhouse gas emissions, but that face arguably the greatest challenges from the threat multiplying effects of the fast warming planet. The ramifications for everyone, however, are massive. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. According to Michael Rudney and BBC, UN says climate change, Kilimanjaro and Africa's last glacier to go by 2050. Many people also depend on glaciers as their water source for domestic use and agriculture. Then their loss could lead to scarcity of fresh water during the dry season, said Professor Duncan Quincy, a glaciology expert at the University of Leeds, who was not involved in the research. That leads to food security issues because they were using the water to irrigate their crops, said Quincy. Local communities and indigenous people will bear the brunt of the flooding caused by glacier loss, says the report, urging early warning and risk reduction disaster systems to put in place. Sadly, the article does specify how many million people will become climate refugees due to water scarcity caused by loss of glacial ice packs. It's not just Africa, Kilimanjaro affected, but a worldwide issue, including the United States. The article has a long list of glaciers. And I tell you what, if you guys go to the Rockies and all these places where we have different ice on the packs, brothers and sisters, we're in trouble. That fresh water that fills up Lake Mead, Lake Powell, it's drying up. It's drying up fast. It used to be hundreds of feet deep. I mean, they can't measure that anymore. Anyhow, folks, what can I say? Eric says, fact check the administration. Okay, deleted tweet from the White House and remarks by President Joe Biden could leave the false impression that Biden's policies have something to do with the increase in Social Security payments, but the increase is set by law linked to inflation. Of course it is. I don't think anybody has to say that, but if we want to take a look at that, again, context is everything. Let's go back to history. Again, one of the problems that we have with a lot of our folks on the right is they don't critically think. Back during the Obama years, when the Republicans were in charge of Congress, they floated an idea now known as chain inflation. It was chain. It's not inflation, but it's chain. The chain increase in the cost of living increase, chain CGI, that's what it was called, cost of living increase, so the chain CGI that they had, right, was based on not inflation, but based on what you could get for comparable stuff. In other words, the people who now want to go into Congress and control it, who says they don't really believe in Social Security, etc., they wanted to, it's chain CPI, that's what it was called, chain CPI. They wanted to create a new way of figuring out what the cost of living increase was going to be, and they were going to use something called the chain CPI, which was going to reduce the amount, the CPI that today is 8-point-something%. That chain CPI would have dropped that to probably 5% or so, because what they would have said is, well, if you can't buy steak anymore, you can change steak to chicken or whatever. As long as you can still eat, we're not going to give you the full increase that's caused by inflation. So I don't know what the tweet was that the administration put there, but what they should have put is, now think about it. If Republicans were in control, they would have passed chain CPI by now, which would have reduced your cost of living increase. So I don't know what you're talking about, Eric, But the truth of the matter is, I have a Social Security tape to play that you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. Bridge MCP says Social Security increased due to inflation, not presidential action. A deleted tweet from the White House and remarks by President Joe Biden could leave the false impression that Biden's policies have something to do with the increase in Social Security payments, but the increase is set by law and linked to inflation. In remarks in Florida in November 1, Biden repeated a boast about Medicare B premium decreasing next year for the first time in more than a decade. As we have explained, that's true, but misleading. The $520 per month drop next year following a larger increase the prior year. That was partly due to the anticipated Alzheimer's drug expenses, which ended up not happening. The president then immediately turned to Social Security. And on my watch, for the first time in 10 years, seniors are getting the increase in Social Security checks. He said that's a true statement. So checks are going to be up and Medicare payments are going to be down. True statement as well. Now, was he kind of taking credit for it? Yes, he was. That's what he was doing. And you know what? I don't have a problem with him taking credit for it, because he should have post-faced it with saying, and that is occurring because Democrats are still in power and have not instituted chain CPI, which allowed this reality to be true. All right? That's what I would have said. I would have taken that and said, yes, we are responsible for that because. Think about it, folks. Think about it. All right, we got Eric who said Biden boasts a lot of tall stories. You can call it a boast. That is like saying Republicans are saying we're not for cutting Social Security, or Republicans are saying somehow they are good on crime, when we know that all of their cities and towns are riddled with crime. You see how I can say it too? That's what Democrats need to learn how to do. Republicans know how to lie. We need to know how to learn how to bloviate positively as well. Okay, let's see what we got here. Anybody else has anything to want to say? Eric says, aren't cutting crap maybe. I don't know what that. I don't use that kind of language. Okay. All right, let's continue here. Let's continue here. I want to play you guys a video. Caught on tape. Mike Lee. Mike Lee caught on tape doing what we all know Republicans want to do. Check this out. We'll take it after that on the other side. So once again, Republicans are changing their words as soon as they're trying to meet with the public. Remember, the Supreme Court judges said, we won't get rid of Roe versus Wade. But as soon as the Supreme Court judges assigned by the Republicans got into power and got their supermajority, what did they do? Overturn Roe versus Wade, even though they said they wouldn't do it. Well, they also said they were supportive of just about everybody. We passed the President Biden went ahead and he got student loan forgiveness of only $10,000 and $20,000 if you have a Pell Grant. And what did they do? They blocked it. No support at all for the students who have been pilfered over the last several decades, right? Okay. Now they want you to believe that, oh, we are not going to touch Social Security, even though Rick Scott, the RLCC chairperson, went ahead and wrote a memo saying he's going to sunset these programs, Social Security, Medicare, and all these programs every 5 years. And of course, Ron Johnson from Wisconsin said, we don't need to do this every 5 years. Let's go ahead and do it every year. And they say now, when they're facing the voters, oh, believe us, we're not going to touch it. We're not going to change it. Well, you know, watch them when they are amongst just their selfish own. Check this out, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Here is Republican Senator Mike Lee's plan for Social Security.
It will be my objective to phase out Social Security, to pull it up by the roots and get rid of it.
Utah Republican Senator Mike Lee, who wants to uproot Social Security, is now running for re-election in opposition to Mike Lee. Last week, Mike Lee said this: I don't remember ever in any time since I first became a candidate for Senate ever saying, no, we just have to end Social Security and uproot all those expectations of those who've paid into it. Quite to the contrary. And of course, there's video of him saying exactly that the first time he ran for Senate.
It will be my objective to phase out Social Security, to pull it up by the roots and get rid of it. People who advise me politically always tell me that's dangerous, and I tell them, in that case, it's not worth my running. That's why I'm doing this, to get rid of that. Medicare and Medicaid are of the same sort and need to be pulled up.
So as you can see, Lee wants to go ahead and change the Social Security laws now. He wants to not only get rid of Social Security, he wants to get rid of Medicare and Medicaid. So folks, remember when you're going to vote. Remember, listen to what they're saying. Believe them when they said it in previous times. Believe them, because they're going to do it. They said they were going to get rid of abortion. It took them 50 years, almost 50 years to do it. But they stuck with it till they got it done. The same thing with all our social programs, Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. They want to get rid of it, and they will. They will get rid of it. They'll start by starving the budget, by force, and they already said it as well. That is on the negotiation table with the debt ceiling. So if Democrats don't want to crash the world's economy, you're going to have to allow us to cut Social Security. You're going to have to allow us to cut Medicare, and you're going to have to allow us to give those big tax breaks again to these rich corporations, because it's not like they are already causing inflation. Half of the inflation that's out today is money they're taking out of your pocket and directly into the pocket of the CEOs, executives, and shareholders. Your vote for any Republican says, please take my money. Please take my money and give it to the wealthy. Please do it. I want you to just succor me. Take away my health insurance. Take away these. This is their belief. This is the standard libertarian type belief where we are governed by the corporatocracy, folks. They said that's what they want. Believe them. Believe them, believe them, believe them. Here is what Bridge MCP says we need to remember. Old lives matter. Old lives matter. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Anyhow, folks, let's continue reading what you guys are saying here. Para ver, comenzando desde arriba ahora. We have Nanette Birdsmith says, Eric Hayes, but aren't the Republicans blaming inflation on Biden equal increase in dollars? SS, how do you like this logic? Thank you very much. Hey, Nanette, that is so smart what you just said there. If you blame Biden for inflation, and inflation caused a cost of living increase in Social Security, then Biden caused the increase in your Social Security, or caused your Social Security increase. I never thought about that, Nanette Birdsmith. Man, what a logic. I don't like it because Biden didn't cause inflation. I prefer my point, though, my dear beautiful Nanette, because I prefer saying if Republicans were in power, the cost of living increase would not have been 8.2%. It would have been less because they would have used chain CPI. Please, folks, look up chain CPI, and you see what I'm talking about. They were fighting Obama about chain CPI, and it seemed like Obama was about to give in to chain CPI to prevent the crash of the world's economy. Check it out. That happened back in, I think, 2012 or something like that. I don't remember exactly what year it was. All right, Eric Hayes, you're usually more careful about not citing blatant right-wing bubble sources, unlike the other three conservatives who come here and post other crap. All right, let's see. Eric Hayes says Biden boasts a lot of tall stories. Not true. All right. Lee Grant says red wave coming. Will the left accept the results? Look, if you guys win, you bet your life I'm going to accept the results. I'll be fighting like hell for the 2024 election. And riot, why riot? Why riot? If Democrats want to win, they can. There are more Democrats than Republicans. There are more folks who believe in the Democratic ideology, the progressive ideology, than there are Republicans. But they got to come out and vote. And if they don't vote, they deserve to lose. I am with you. If Democrats and progressives don't come out to vote, they deserve to lose. They deserve to lose Social Security and everything that Republicans are telling them they're going to do to them. So my brothers and sisters of the Democratic, of the thinking Republican, as well as of the independent persuasion, if you don't vote, it is a vote. You are saying, take my Social Security if you want to, take my Medicare if you want to, take my Medicaid if you want to, transfer my taxes to the corporatocracy, to the wealthy, to the oligarchy if you want to, and pass tax laws that give all these rich people breaks as we continue to suffer. Again, it's your choice. You can come out and vote and stop all of that. You have, and it's not too late. In Texas, you have today and tomorrow to vote. You can come out in swarms and vote if you would like to. However, if you choose not to, if you choose to say, nah, I don't feel like voting today, I'm not going to spend the effort, then yeah, Lee Grant would be right. Red wave. Your choice. We can still have a blue wave. We could surprise the holy hell out of everybody by simply going to vote. It's that simple. Old lives matter. I love that, Bridge MCP. I love that. I love that. I love that. Michael says, Egberto, Eric is getting his news from the right-wing bubble again. They're lying to Eric and he doesn't even notice. Again, it's by choice. You're going to see something that I'm going to play that shows you how the mind, many people's minds work. It was between when on my show yesterday with Juanita as well as a caller. I want you guys to listen to that one in detail because you're going to love it. You're going to love it. Lo van a apreciar mucho cuando lo ando. All right, let's continue here. Wait a minute. Let's go ahead and see. There we go. Oh, yep, it's there. All right, continuing. Eric Hayes says, replying to Maywood, they aren't cutting crap. No, I'm not going to read that. Let's see. Bridge MCP says, Eric, they have come out and said it and spoke about it. Will hold the government hostage if not done. They did say that. Let's not twist the things here. That's what they said. We aren't making that up. That's what they said. All right, let's continue now. Nanette Bird said, or rather, Peggy Lopez says, Masticator. Let's go to Masticator first. He says, when Republicans win the House, they need to spend the next 2 years investigating and showing the people the truth, the criminality of the Democrats. 2024, we win again. Wow. I bet you really believe that, right? So you want to spend all this time investigating and doing all these things to investigate instead of doing what America needs to do to get the economy running. I get it. Peggy Lopez says, black pregnant women experiencing complication which have made it difficult to continue working, accused of fraud by a white nurse practitioner after a doctor approved a medical leave from work. What's the story? Nanette Birdsmith says, bloviate, great word. Yeah, I used to use that word from, what's his name? He's not on Fox News anymore, but you guys know who I mean. It's a new word for me. Have to use it. Masticator, revagism, ruling by revenge is a losing political strategy. It always has been. That's how Clinton got reelected. But again, these folks don't follow history. British MCP says, anyone hear an echo? I don't. Masticator says all Republicans have is to blame Democrats for not doing enough, while Republicans want to do worse than nothing. Maywood says you're usually more careful about citing blatant right-wing bubbles, sir. Eric says passing things does not make policy decisions wins. Has nothing to do with helping them taxpayers out. Okay. Alistair Waters says, got an echo here. Bridge MCP. Bridge MCP says, little applause there and a lot of white heads. I don't know what that means, but I think you're talking about the video that I just showed. Mike Cisak, Alessia Lee Grant says, the left is resurrecting the old barb that the right wants to throw Granny under the bus. Actually, that is what you guys did with Obamacare, right? Even though it helped millions of people. Bridge MCP, let's see what else we got here from Michael Wren says, Republicans would take my parents, uncles, and aunts' security away from them. This is money my family have paid into all their lives. Republicans would put my family in the poorhouse. Hell no. All right. Alistair Waters says, hi. Hi, Alistair. How you doing, my beautiful lady? And Mike Cisak wants to say, oh, wait a minute. Yes, Mike Lee did say to get rid of Social Security, but not immediately. He's going to phase it out. Okay. In other words, he wants to get rid of Social Security. That's not a lie. That's the truth. He wants to get rid of Social Security. But of course, lots cross arms in the video too. Yep. In other words, a lot of those people were like, Mike, are you crazy? I'm on Social Security. Mike Cisak says, gotta love liars who change what people say. I didn't change what he said. He said he wanted to get rid of Social Security. And how was he going to get rid of it? He was going to phase it out. There's no lie there. Of course, Lee Grant accused us of gaslighting. Forgive him. Well, I'm so happy that you're going to forgive me, Lee Grant. That's why I love you. You're a forgiving guy. All right. Mike Fleming says he's in the house. Welcome, Mike Fleming. Mike Cisak says we should get rid of it so we can get the money out of the hands of politicians and let us privately have our own retirement. It's not in the hands of the politicians, and it's not something earning interest per se. It is something that's paid from one generation to the next. But again, you guys bought into the Kool-Aid. I can't help you there. The conservative in the audience here don't even want to hear what Republicans are telling them. When Republicans show you who they are, believe them. Exactly right, Michael. All right, we have Yvette Avery Herod is in the house. Afternoon, PDR Posse, she says. Michael Cisak says, any vote for progressives mean thieves that get my money and giving it to others to buy their vote. Not really. Progressives mean, sir, your form would be successful again. But you've been sufficiently indoctrinated that you don't even know what's good for you. But that's okay. Keep watching Politics Done Right. You know I love you, and you also know. And you know that's genuine. When I say this, I'm not just, oh, I love you. I really mean that. I love my audience. I really, really do. Even the ones that disagree with me. Because I know at some point in time, vamos a juntarnos. We're going to come together. I know that. All right. Eric A. says, Cuomo did not care about old lives during COVID. Many died due to his position. Really? I thought it was due to Trump's position, but maybe I have to stand corrected, but I think I'm right. Lee Grant says, when I voted, I saw no armed militias, Proud Boys, or anyone wearing khaki. Did anyone here see that? You're not going to see that here. You have to go into the hood, brother. That is where they have to control the vote. Masticator says, we have been working on a hell of a lot of other things besides abortion for 50 years. All about fundamentally returning America to sanity. Good AA, goodbye immigration, goodbye unions. Wow. Goodbye to something that helps people. I always wondered why many just like the idea of enslaving themselves, right? Why is that color doing that? I may have to make an adjustment as we speak. Bear with me as I adjust our color barrier here. This black thing apparently messes with our, that's not what I want. Bear with me as I make this small change to see if I can alleviate some of what I'm seeing here. There we go. Put it right there. There we go. I think that cleans it up a bit. All right. Let's get busy continuing with what you guys have to say. Mike Cisasek, Biden and Democrats caused inflation. Again, I suggest that you study a bit of economics to understand what's going on here. In fact, one of the greatest progressive women that I love in Congress. Her name is, help me out here. She just proved that 4.2% of the 8.2% of inflation is really on the backs of the profiteers, right? Gosh, what's her name? Katie, you know who I mean. Katie, whatever, her first name is Katie. I'll remember it in a little bit. Michael Rones says, Egberto, when the Republicans cut Social Security spending and give corporate tax cuts, they're paying the libertarians' beliefs, but they go and screw women with criminalizing abortion, screw LGBTQ people when they start looking into bedrooms, or screwing minorities by pushing hard crime crackdowns. Again, here's the deal. It's amazing because the libertarian belief is to leave abortion alone as well, right? But that's not their thought. Their thought process is, we had to sell our souls to the evangelical movement, we had to make a deal somewhere. So in the process of making the deal, just screw the women. That's all. Screw women. Who cares about women, right? All right. Lee Grant says the left always rats when they don't get their way. Really? Wow, could have fooled me. Milton Friedman, only government creates inflation. Milton Friedman was the worst scum of the earth. He destroyed a lot of countries with the Chicago Boys throughout Central America, South America, and the eastern part of this world. Don't ever quote Milton Friedman in a positive sense to me, sir. Milton Friedman is the devil incarnate. All right. FBI has received credible information of broad threat to synagogues in New Jersey. Sad. Just waiting on the investigation to begin when the House changes. I'm waiting too. You know what's so funny about it? It's going to give, I hate it, right? But it's going to, when the Republicans take over the House, it's going to give Politics Done Right so much material. Unfortunately, if they take over the House, I guess is what I should say. Not when, if they take over the House. I still have hope that we can actually have women just go out there. And you know what? I think a lot of women are voting for Democrats and just lying to their husbands and people. So we'll see. So Egberto is now resorting to fear to scare those dependent on Democratic programs. No, I'm just telling the truth. Democrats and Republicans on Social Security. Remember, they're coming for you. Republican politicians. Yes, they're coming for you. Is that a scare enough, Mike Cisak? All right, let's continue. Michael Rodney says, Republicans right now don't believe in elections. Republicans believe in authoritarianism, not democracy. If Republicans get power, they're going to put corrupt officials into Secretary of State positions and make it so that elections actually are rigged. To be clear, elections are secure right now. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Lee Grant, oh gosh, you guys are making my mouth dry up. Question. Juanita did not answer. Who sets the bail amounts? There is a chart. She said that in the interview. Let's see what else we got here. Deborah Moyer says, investigate rather than do something for the people. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do, but let them do it. See how good it works out for them. All right, let's see. Obamacare did nothing but cost more than it was supposed to. Well, I won't disagree with you there, but it did save millions of lives. Thousands of lives. Egberto, then you like the MSNBC host lied that Lee wanted to take down SS right. We never said he wanted to take it down SS right away. We said Mike Lee wanted to get rid of Social Security, and that's a fact. Eric K. says, if Social Security isn't the hands of politics, then how can they get rid of it? I never said it was in the hands of politics. I said it was just a transfer from one generation to the next. Tom C. says, times 11,122. Food prices soar and so do companies' profits. Some companies and restaurants have continued to raise prices on consumers even after their own inflation-rated costs have been covered. Yeah, they're thugs. According to Mike Cisak, if progressives couldn't put up their Social Security welfare programs to buy voters, what reason would people have to vote for progressives? Please tell me what reason do they have to vote for Democrats? For Republicans. I can tell you several. But I won't, not right now, because right now I have a video to show. I want you guys to listen to what let's go to that thing with Juanita. I cut this up out of my show yesterday at KPFT because a lot of you hadn't seen me interact with this Republican. And I want to show you how willful ignorance work. I want to show you what happened when you get a Republican to change his mind. And after he changes his mind and realizes that he's changing his mind and realize that, oh my God, he then kind of goes into a bit of a convulsion. Check this out. We'll take it on the other side. RJ, come on in. Let's see what you have to say. RJ, talk to me.
Well, I just want to know why these judges are letting all these criminals out on all these felony bonds over and over and over again, and people are getting killed.
So, RJ, what we talked about earlier and where the misnomer is our law specifically requires everyone in the state of Texas is entitled to a bond. Very few circumstances can a judge have someone at no bond. And one of the ones is capital murder. They can hold them at no bond, but there's still a requirement that must have a hearing. So what you're getting is that they're letting them all out on their free will. They're not. What is happening is our law says that they must give them a bond. So people are getting bonds. Things and circumstances have changed. It's a really complicated situation. And it used to be if someone had a $50,000 or $100,000 bond, that they couldn't even financially make the money or come up with the money to make the bond. But we've had bonding companies. Now the restrictions or the requirements for money has drastically changed. So people are able to make the bonds now because bonding companies are no longer requiring collateral. They're no longer requiring 4 and 5 people to co-sign. Because it used to be back in the day, someone sat in jail on a $30,000 bond because they didn't have any collateral. They no longer require collateral. They now have bonding companies, bonding loans. Your mama and dad now can go get a loan and cover your bond. People don't understand. Harris County bail bond system in 2019 was declared unconstitutional by a federal judge. A federal judge ruled that judges prior to 2018 were not following the law. So what's happening is judges are following the law. And now the other side is saying they're letting them all out. It's a bad situation, but it's not the judge's fault. And let me point out, the percentage of people that are getting out on bond and committing new offenses, the percentage has not changed much, considering the population explosion we've had. So this whole idea that our crime is high, crime is high, the entire country. But we as Houston have a very unique situation because we had during COVID a population explosion.
Right.
So that makes crime go up. But what everybody's not reporting is that since 2018, by following the law the way it's supposed to be done, crime is down now. Now, we'll point out that I love that. I've been doing my research. They're saying as much as we're down by 10, 12% now. And even Crime Stoppers has to admit, Crime Stoppers put out their statistics in the last few weeks, and because they were the ones arguing that crime is so bad. So they're now admitting, if you go to their website, but they're not saying it's really down. They're saying, we're at a plateau now.
Did you understand that, RJ?
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
Okay, you don't have to. You don't have to buy it, RJ.
You don't have to buy it.
Let me tell you, RJ.
I'm in the courts every day, and I know the law.
But you know what else, RJ? I tell you what, because right now we have a derelict media. We have a media that lies to you. And when they lie to you, as I said, there's KPFT to tell the truth.
Yeah. We have a Democrat-run media.
No. Actually, that's not true. If you take a look at who owns Channel 11, Channel 13, and Channel 2, and Fox News, it is all run by the same conglomerates. I don't mean the same company per se, but it's actually conservative companies that own all our stations. So
come on.
No, I'm not. It's not a question. So you can look it up yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. You can simply look it up. I mean, you can honestly look it up.
Do your research. What I tell everyone is just Google and do your research. RJ, if you're sitting in front of a computer right now, you can Google is crime down in Houston? And there will be article after article telling you that it is. But you're not going to believe it.
That is so false and fake. I mean, come on, you guys got your head in the sand.
Let me ask you this, RJ, and I'm going to Kari next, but the reason I like to get callers like you in is you are steadfast in the belief of what you've heard on TV, correct?
No, I don't watch TV.
Where have you seen crime, sir?
Minutes, I turn it off.
Where have you seen crime?
I see it all over the place.
No, I'm saying, have you seen crime
Driving in the
yourself?
hood right-
Houston is a humongous place. Where have you seen crime, let's say, in your neighborhood?
in the hood right now. I see all these murders. I see cops. I see catalytic converters getting stolen.
Right.
I see them turned out the door the very next day. $100 bond. Come on, what?
What causes this increase in crime? What do you think caused this increase in crime that we're seeing? That we saw? It's on the way down, but
revolving door.
Okay, and now if we're telling you that, what gives the judges the right to release people who come into their offices?
The judges have a say so in it, and like the lady said, the law's on the bond. But hey, you guys have had your chance for 2 years. The last 4 years.
No, but what I'm saying, what I'm asking you, RJ, the laws are written in Austin, right? That these judges have to follow. Do you agree with that? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, if the laws are written in Austin that these judges have to follow, these judges got sued for not following the law previous to 2018. In 2018, they started to follow the law. My question again to you, RJ, is who should be responsible then? Shouldn't that go to Austin?
Yes.
Okay, so and who controls Austin, RJ?
The Texas legislature.
And who runs the Texas legislature, Sir RJ?
The legislators. I mean, come on.
Right, and you know who? If Dan Patrick leads the in Texas. Huh? What's that?
You're going off into the weeds.
No, this is not the weeds. We this is what happens. That nobody wants the audience to think critically anymore. Okay, and
right.
One of the issues that we do at Politics Done Right is we have enough respect for you to ensure that you will start thinking critically. They want to come on TV and tell you crime rate is up, and they want you to have a gut reaction. And that gut reaction is what's going to cause you to vote the way they want you to do. You come to a Politics Done Right, a KPFT, what we're going to do is say, RJ, I don't want you to believe what I'm saying. I believe Juanita, but you don't even have to believe Juanita. You can actually, we're telling you, please, do your research and you'll see where the genesis of the problem really lies. I appreciate you calling, RJ. You keep listening to Politics Done Right. You'll always have a voice here, all right?
There's a good chance for it.
Thank you, RJ.
You have a great day, sir.
Thank you.
All right, let's go. Now, if you notice, this was really, really, really funny, right? I asked him the questions one at a time, so that we can assign responsibility to those who need to accept responsibility. First, we started out the crime. The way that bonds are handled in Harris County was declared unconstitutional. After it was declared unconstitutional, the judges that came to the bench had to follow the law. Right? They followed the law, and they went ahead and they gave bonds. If Kim Og didn't believe a particular person should be out on bail, she had a right to come into the court and say, I want to no bond this guy because of X, Y, and Z. But half the time they never showed up to do a bonding hearing, which the defendant is entitled to, right? So then if they don't come or if they don't put in a request, a bond is issued based on the severity of whatever it is that he's accused of. And the bonding companies, because they don't want these guys to sit in jail because they don't make any money with crooks or defendants sitting in jail. They want that money. And if we say $1 million is a bond, normally you'd have to come up with 10% and sign off your house or your car and all that kind of stuff. No more. No more. In Harris County, they want to make that money. They know you don't have that money. So they'll say, okay, give us 0.5%. Give us $1,000. Give us $5,000 to get out of jail. So we have a bond with the state for $1 million. You get out for just paying $5,000. You may get out and do another crime. It's the system. And who wrote the system? It was written in Austin, Texas. So if you want to blame what these judges are doing, please assign blame where it belongs. Tough on crime. If you want to be tough on crime, create the laws that are tough on crime. But you know why? They don't want the laws that way. They want the opportunity for the few people that are going to commit crimes. The 200 in Harris County, a place of 4 million people, 200 of them committed crimes, right? For those who they set bails based on a chart. That's where it is, Eric. For those who want to have strict guidance and keeping these folks locked up, pass the law. Pass the law. You are in charge. But you know why they don't want to pass the law? It's a double-edged sword. If you keep more of these people locked up, it means the bail bonds don't make money. The bail bondsman doesn't make money. So therefore, they don't want that. They want to have carte blanche to do as they please. And then if something bad happens, they don't want to say it was caused because we took very little money for bails or anything like that. They want to say, it's the judges. It's the judges. Again, all right, if you want to keep the punks locked up, talk to the bail bonds who own the Republican Party. They don't want those guys locked up. They want the opportunity to give them bonds. And you notice like this guy answered the questions himself. Watch how Eric is turning in his head. He's unable to listen. Anyhow, before I move on, I want to talk about Lina Hidalgo, which is a local, and this story has implications nationally. We have Lina Hidalgo, who is the current commissioner's court, lead the commissioner's court in Harris County, largest county in Texas, third largest in the country. And she promised to not take any grassroots money at all. She takes no corporate money. She only takes grassroots donations, right? Anyhow, I have no idea how the Houston Chronicle endorsed Mueller, but Mueller got endorsed by the Houston Chronicle. All along, we've been talking about this woman being a crook, right? So now, after they endorsed her, in fact, even as they said great things about Lina Hidalgo, even as they talked about Mueller not listening when folks talk, etc., 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 they still went ahead and endorsed Mueller. Well, they're having second thoughts now. The editorial board, the same one that endorsed her, comes back and it says, here's what it says. Let me put it on the screen for you. It says, editorial, Mueller, return your big donations from far-right mega donors. Why do two West Oil billionaires, Christian nationalists, waging war against secular public schools, care who becomes the next chief executive of Harris County? Hundreds of miles from their homes? Why did a Houston real estate developer give $400,000, a staggering sum, in local campaign to Republican county judge candidate Alexandra del Moral Mueller? Why did furniture salesman who became a celebrity by waving fistfuls of cash and promising to save you money give $448,000 to Mueller in a single month? What, aside from earnest hopes of good governance, might these mega donors expect in exchange for their money? How much pressure will Mueller face to do their bidding if she wins? In other words, they're saying she is bought and paid for. One more time, she is bought and paid for. Alexandra Mueller, who is running to unseat Lina Hidalgo, is bought and paid for. These and other questions arise in reviewing Mueller's latest campaign finance reports as she enters the home stretch of her bid to unseat one-term incumbent Democrat Lina Hidalgo. As the Chronicle's Jasper Scherer reported, Mueller has raised, listen to this, $8.6 million since July 1st. What? For a county judge seat, man. $8.6 million. It's Harris County, folks. That's what she's raised. Including $3.7 million in the past month alone. 3.7, you know how many Congress people, you know how many senators would like to raise that? By comparison, in the 2018 election, then incumbent Republican Ed Emmett raised, guess what? $446,000. She has raised over 20 times what the former Republican incumbent raised. Mueller's fundraising and spending in this cycle dwarfed that of the incumbent Democrat Lina Hidalgo, who has raised $2.4 million since July, including $911,000 from September 30 to October 29. One item that leaps out from Mueller's report is a pair of $100,000 donations from the Defend Texas Liberty Political Action Committee. This PAC is funded almost entirely by Tim Dunn and Faris Wilkes, who made their fortunes in oil exploration. In oil exploration and fracking, and have donated lavishly to far-right candidates for the Texas legislature and statewide offices. Among other notable gifts, Houston home builder Richard Weekly gave Mueller $400,000. July-September reporting. Furniture salesman, philanthropist Jim Mattress McInville and his wife Linda have given more than $600,000 to Mueller. McInville often appears in television ads with Mueller and was one of her earliest supporters. If you don't see the crookery, if you don't see the purchased politician there, I don't know what else to see. And you know what? These are folks that want to build homes in flood zones, and Lena won't allow it. Lena won't allow them to screw the flood stuff anymore. Okay? Think about this, people. This is not me speaking, by the way, Lee Grant. This is the Houston Chronicle editorial board, who actually voted to endorse this crook. It's not me. The editorial board is having second thoughts. They understand now that they screwed up. Completely and entirely screwed up from endorsing Alexandra Mueller to be the county judge after taking all this damn contributions. Think about it. Why would she need $8.3 million for a race? Talking about being bought, paid for, and sealed if she makes it into it. Just think about it. Now Lee Grant says a new poll of Harris County voters show that Alexandra del Moral Mueller and Lina Hidalgo are neck and neck in the race for county judge. Of course, if you can buy that much, just think about how much lies you can tell on every single radio station in this state, or rather in this county. It's amazing, the thuggery. Let's see. Tom C. says, Lee Grant, the spillover effect, you need to build a wall between your red county and the blue ones. Red state Ohio Buckeyes must also be causing high crime rates in blue state Michigan. All right, folks, let's go. I have one more video to show you, and this one here is Obama doing the right thing. I want you to check this out. Let's see. Which one did I just play for you? I think I played for you the one that was the one that we need to play right now is Obama really roasting the young lady from Arizona, Kari Lake. Check this out. President Obama nailed this one. Here's the reality, right? A lot of people don't like politicians that's their job, politicians. So we decided to try on a TV star, Donald Trump. And, well, we didn't try him. He didn't ever win the majority. But, I mean, we tend to give more value to these guys than they deserve. Mehmet Oz is a contender in the election in Pennsylvania against Fetterman. I mean, that's just how it is. Well, Obama kind of put it into context. I want you to listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Here in Arizona, there's no question that Katie Hobbs' opponent, she's good in front of the camera because she's been doing it for a long time, right? So, some people don't know this, but apparently Kari Lake actually interviewed me back in 2016 when I was president. She was a local news anchor. She was doing her job. At the time, I don't remember thinking that she was the kind of person who would push debunked COVID remedies or promise to issue a declaration of invasion at our border or claim without any evidence that the 2020 election was stolen. I guess that stuff came later because she found it convenient, because she thought, well, here's an opportunity to get attention. Listen, if we hadn't just elected somebody whose main qualification was being on TV, you could see maybe giving it a shot. What's the worst that could happen? Well, now we know. It doesn't just work out just because somebody's been on TV.
He's on point. What could possibly go wrong? Well, Donald Trump shows us what getting a camera star who has no ethics or values can give to you. And let me give you another one that will likely upset many. Ronald Reagan is another camera star that became the president. And while some would laud him as being this great president who created a lot of employment, let's first realize that Clinton had way more employment than he did, and Clinton also balanced the budget. Ronald Reagan created what Bush called voodoo economics, and in creating voodoo economics, he blew up the budget. He's the one who started this largest rise in our budget in a long time. Likewise, his employment occurred by using Keynesian principles in a facade of conservatism. It wasn't. He blew up the budget, he deficit spent, and he also increased the military by a whole bunch. What's that again? Keynesian economics, government spending a whole bunch. So Reagan was always a fraud. But again, he's good on camera. And as Obama said, think about this. How did it work out? How did supply economics work out? We're still living with it, and Americans' pocketbook shows it. And how did it work out with Donald Trump? We killed over 1 million people. We destroyed our economy. And as usual, Democrats come in to try to fix it. Because the fix takes longer, many Americans, impatient as they usually are, sometimes penalize for attempting to fix the mistakes of the charlatanes. Absolutely attempting to fix the mistake of the charlatanes. Well, Erica, this is what our good friend British MCP says you're doing. I see no evil. I hear no evil. Let me blow it up for you so you can see it a little better. I see no evil. I hear no evil. That is what Bridge feels. Is Ask Egberto still on for coming Saturday? Si, senor. Thank you for reminding me. And also, let me go ahead. Let's see how much time I got here. Oh, wow. I made the time fly, huh? All right, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and do that. Thank you for reminded me about and advertising this, folks. All of you that are listening today, on the first Saturday of every month, we have Ask Egberto Anything, where you can come and roast me. You can come and do whatever you want to me. And here is the link to sign up for Ask Egberto Anything. It's free, of course. And let's go ahead and put that into the feed real quickly. Let's see. Bear with me 1 second. Let me get to the right screen here. All right. We are going to put this here. Ask Egberto Anything. That's the link to Ask Egberto Anything. You sign up. It's a Zoom call. We have fun. We all talk together. Everybody comes in. Our lefties or righties or everybody comes to this stuff. So come on in and join the fold. Please, folks, support the program. I need some patrons. So please, I ask you so kindly to support us at politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. Or if you're on YouTube, just click that join button to become a YouTube subscriber. You can shop at our store. Simply go to politicsdoneright.com/store. politicsdoneright.com/store. We have a lot of nice, good products in there. T-shirts, hats, all that good stuff. Please go ahead and consider getting it. Get our books. Those books that you see scroll right through. All my books. I promise you'll get quite a bit out of it. politicsdoneright.com/books. Please support my new paid podcast. It's just an aggregation of everything that we do, both video and audio. politicsdoneright.com/ podcast paid, politicsandright.com/podcast paid. I have a new book out. It's done one chapter at a time, and I'm up to chapter 9 or 10, I don't remember. It's called Tribulations of a, let's see what it is. Tribulations of an Afro-Latino Caribbean Man. Racism Didn't Stop My Smile, Hope, or Journey Forward. Please click on that and consider. Again, you can read it for free right now. Amazon is giving away tokens to read it for free, so you can read all the chapters for free. You can also support us by going to politicsandright.com/support. That is where we have all the different methods of supporting us. And of course, we like good old reliable PayPal, politicsandright.com/PayPal. I cannot do this without you. I urge you, I ask you so kindly to support the program because this is how we're going to tell the truth. No matter what happens on Tuesday, I think Tuesday is going to be a surprise. Right now, everybody expects doom for Democrats on Tuesday. I've been looking at the numbers and looking at the amount of women that are voting. And I have this hunch. I just have this hunch that the night is not going to turn out anywhere close to what many believe the night is going to turn out to be. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm not, we'll still have a great show and we'll be still pushing forward. It's the name of the game. I will have a lot to say if we lose, because if we lose, I will have a lot to say. Breach thinks I'm wrong. Breach thinks that we're going to have a shellacking on Tuesday. I hope not. I think women are going to come through. I think women are going to come through. Anyhow, folks, it's 4 o'clock. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out! We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number 1, subscribe to our channel, and number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.